Let's do an energy reading, overall outlook for the month of October 2023. I love this time of year, spooky season, Halloween, all the fun witchy stuff. It's great. And I have a number of Halloween autumn themed oracle cards, tarot cards that I would like to use for this reading. I also, as you can see, have my cats, my gold and black cats ready for this reading. So in this reading, I'm going to be using the Everyday Witch Oracle, the Halloween Oracle, and I'll put the links in the description below, the Trick or Treat Tarot, which is amazing, the Halloween Tarot, and the Seasons of the Witch Mabon Oracle. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, I'm going to do an overall outlook for the month of October, and then I will do a kind of summary energy reading for each week in October, and I will be including any important astrology to know about during the month as well. Overall outlook for the month of October 2023. And I'm just gonna randomly pull here with the Halloween Oracle. Oop, that one came through. Winter, the sacredness of pausing. Okay. Mabon Oracle. Grieving. The chambers of your mourning are surrounded by nothingness, emptiness waiting to be seen. So it definitely looks like we're doing some pausing, some reflection, possibly some grieving. So this is perfect autumn energy. Autumn is when the leaves start to die and fall off the trees. It is kind of moving into the nature cycle of death as we approach the end of Halloween and All Hallows Eve, when the veil between the earth and the spirit realm is the thinnest. So already this energy, I'm getting that we are moving into a more reflective kind of pause energy this month, with the grief card maybe letting go of some expectations, some disappointment, things that we were hoping would be a certain way, and instead we're moving into a state of surrender. That's kind of what I'm getting so far. Let me get some further insights into what this looks like with the Halloween Tarot. Okay, I'm just gonna pull a few cards and then I'll share them. Okay, the first card is the Three of Pentacles. This deck is so fun. I love it so much. So with the Three of Pentacles here, we've got these kids are assembling this scarecrow. This is interesting because the Three of Pentacles are about setting things into motion, setting things into manifestation when it comes to the physical realm, when it comes to our finances, our work projects, our need for stability and security. This is an interesting imagery here because scarecrows are highly protective. They are all about boundaries, right? We have the scarecrow as a way of protecting the cornfield or the crop from predators that made to eat them, right? So this is a boundary card. So we are building boundaries is what I'm getting from this card as we are going through this winter process, this grief process. So boundaries are going to be really important. And then we have the Six of Cups. So this is a card of nostalgia, of sharing, you know, with close connections. But because this is a Halloween card and because the person offering the cup, it's a little different than the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot. This is like a Joker character offering this cup. So I'm going to read it as it is with the imagery, and I'm going to say, be careful of what people are offering you. They may not be who they claim to be. I'm trying to get my camera to zoom in a little bit and it's kind of having a hard time, but be careful of what people are offering you. Pay attention to the little signs, the little red flags that indicate who they are, and question whether or not what they're offering you is actually something you can trust. That's kind of what I'm getting with this card. So boundaries and trust and discernment. And now we've got Three of Cups. We've got some hocus pocus looking witches gathering around a cauldron. I love this deck so much. So with this card, it's thinking about the relationships, nurturing the relationships that do support you. So this is kind of a mirror to the Three of Pentacles. Here we are building boundaries to protect us from those who might try to steal our crop, so to speak, those that might try to threaten our energy. And here we have a mirror of that is with the three women, we have who can you trust, what relationships can you nurture and focus on. So boundaries and focusing on those that you know are trustworthy. All right, let's see. What else are we looking at? Overall energy of October. Hibernation and regeneration. This is the Everyday Witch Oracle. So mirroring this card as well. Pausing, reflecting, resting, regenerating. And with this grief card here, this is the Mabon Oracle. Maybe we are needing to rest and regenerate. Maybe this card is the result of this. Maybe we did take a cup from someone who wasn't trustworthy, and now we are dealing with that disappointment, that betrayal, that rejection. So now we have to hibernate. So October is Libra season. So it does focus on relationships and our connections. So I'm not surprised there's, connections are coming up in this reading. It's also towards the end of October, Scorpio season. And Scorpio season is all about boundaries and discernment and who we trust and how we practice vulnerability in a safe container with the right people. And I'm seeing a lot of those themes coming up this month. All right, so those are the overall energies. Let me just reiterate. We've got pausing as we are moving into the dead of winter, approaching the dead of winter. We are grieving, shedding what isn't serving us anymore. We are hibernating and regenerating because we're having to practice some boundaries, some discernment, being careful of who we're trusting, and prioritizing the connections with those that we do trust. Okay, there's that. I'm going to dive into the first week of October. So looking at my calendar, the 1st to the 7th, Sunday to Saturday. What are we looking at that first week? Astrology-wise, we have Mercury entering Libra on October 4th. That's really the only transit during that time frame. So, first week of October. Black Cat. Fortune meets opportunity. Okay. What does that look like? Let me do the Halloween tarot. Four of Ghosts. Fortune meets opportunity. With this, I'm actually getting perhaps misfortune. Misfortune meets opportunity. Because this is a card of disappointment, of not necessarily being aware of or being grateful for what we have. Maybe we're not seeing everything because there's always, the Four of Cups always has this individual standing behind the main character who has an offering that he can't quite see, right? So maybe a misfortune meets an opportunity. So maybe the first week of October, we may be dealing with some disappointment, but there's something there that we're missing out on. There's something that we haven't yet paid attention to that already exists. So I would say if you are dealing with some hardship the first week of October, maybe do a gratitude practice. Pull out your journal and focus on, okay, what are the good things that I do have going for me in my life? It doesn't mean that we're ignoring whatever's coming up. We're not being Pollyanna-ish, right? We're not being positive vibes only. It's okay to acknowledge the disappointment that you may be feeling. But there's also, he's got like a hot steaming cup of like coffee or hot chocolate. There's also something that is a blessing that we haven't yet acknowledged. So maybe doing some kind of review, some gratitude practice of what you might be missing that's already in your presence in order to navigate that first week of October. Let me pull one more card for the first week. Yeah, prosperity and abundance. So there's some blessings coming to us that first week in October. We just have to be aware and mindful of what it is rather than becoming distracted by what maybe isn't going right, that we're missing out on what's going great. All right. Second week of October, Sunday the 8th through Saturday the 14th. We've got Venus entering Virgo on the 8th. Pluto stations direct in Capricorn on the 10th. Mars enters Scorpio on the 12th. And then we have, hold on, let me move my calendar up. Hold on. We have the 14th, that Saturday, a new moon solar eclipse in Libra. So this is a pretty active week. Let's look at what's coming up. Second week of October. Woohoo! I love this card. This is the Halloween Oracle. Werewolf, exploring wildness. I like this. I mean, Venus in Virgo is very earthy. Pluto stationing direct. That could definitely be partly this card. Mars entering Scorpio, that's a very intense kind of like penetrating energy. We are diving deeper. We're connecting more to our animal instinct. So that could be that as well. And because we have a new moon solar eclipse, that could be this as well. So the whole week is looking like we're unleashing something. Okay. So sexy. Mead and wine. Your presence embodied, tasting the pleasure flowing through your being. We've got some very sexy energy coming up this week. Connecting with your carnal desires, connecting with your own inner fire, your own pleasure, desire, making that a priority. Second week of October. Let me do another Halloween tarot for this week. Second week of October. Okay, Seven of Bats. This is the Seven of Swords. This is definitely a card of deception, of trickery, of things not being what they seem, of someone violating boundaries, probably using manipulation to get what they want. So in some ways, this werewolf might also be connecting you with your own sense of self-preservation, like your protection instincts to protect yourself and to protect those around you. Okay. This could also be if you're in this energy, because with Mars and Scorpio, we can get a little feisty. We can get a little defensive. Scorpio, kind of the dark side of Scorpio, can be a little cold because it's so intensely focused on whatever that mission or goal is. Sometimes it blacks out everything in the periphery. So don't be so intensely fixated on your goal that you're stepping on other people's toes, and be mindful if someone is doing this to you, if their motivations seem not quite right. Just connecting with that self-preservation, with that like survival instinct, that like, don't push my buttons, back off. That's what I'm getting with this. And then Ace of Bats. So this is communicating, being clear. This may be an idea and opportunity as well, the second week of October, to create some kind of project, but this also is an invitation to speak up and to be clear about your needs with others. Okay. Third week of October. The 15th to the 21st, we have nothing astrologically going on that week. So a calmer week, hopefully. Let's see. Skull of Darkness, blind spots. Okay. What is this to do with? This is the Trick or Treat Tarot. 6 of Swords. They're kind of going into this little fun house. Got the Grim Reaper there. There's a Black Widow. It's so hard to see. I'm sorry that my camera is a little blurry. You have a little Black Widow here at the top of the entryway. Blind spots. Just because there's no astrology happening, no new astrology, doesn't mean that there's not activity, right? Mars is still in Scorpio, and with that new moon solar eclipse on October 14th, that's opening up the eclipse portal, right? Eclipse portals are a period of 3 weeks. So that portal closes on October 28th, which we'll get to in a moment, but we are still in the middle of an eclipse portal during that time. So even though that week, the 3rd week of October, doesn't have any new shifts in astrology, we are still very much coming out of that solar eclipse energy. We are still navigating the Mars in Scorpio energy, Pluto having just stationed direct. So being aware of our blind spots. There's kind of a lot of cautionary energy coming up for October. Just being mindful, not to scare anybody, doesn't mean like bad things are going to happen, but just having your eyes open, paying attention to those red flags, honoring your boundaries is what I'm getting a lot of. All right, another card for that week. Apple of my eye. That's such a pretty card. Not all that's alluring may be what it seems. See beyond the illusion. Here we go again, blind spots. And paying attention to this. Like they're here on this joyride thinking they're going through this, you know, funhouse little water ride, but there's teeth in the door and there's a Black Widow there too. So again, discernment, approaching or proceeding with your eyes wide open the 3rd week of October. All right. The last week of October, the last full week, so looking at the 22nd to the 28th, and then we'll look at the week of Halloween. The 22nd to the 28th, we have 22nd, Mercury enters Scorpio, then the Sun enters Scorpio on the 23rd, so that's the beginning of Scorpio season. And then on the 28th, we have the full moon eclipse in Taurus. So let's look at this week before I say anything about the astrology. Ooh. Midnight, the most magical hour of all. Okay. What has this got to do with? We have the sun. This is interesting because midnight is really dark, but here we have the sun, and the sun is an illuminating force. The sun is consciousness. So maybe we are bringing conscious light and awareness into the dark of the night. That's kind of cool. And that is ultimately what Scorpio energy is all about as well, is illuminating the shadow, illuminating the darkness. I kind of love this imagery together. We're illuminating something in the dark of the night. Then we have Queen of Ghosts. I'm kind of getting this playful energy with the ghost here. Here we have a mermaid. And it said that mermaids can navigate both realms, right? The water realm and land. So maybe we are navigating the conscious and the unconscious. And maybe we're doing it in a bit of a playful way, because the invitation from this ghost is playful. Here we have the black cat here. So we're definitely bringing something unconscious to conscious awareness during the week of the 22nd to the 28th. And that makes a lot of sense too, because we're in the middle of an eclipse cycle, and eclipses always bring things up to the surface to be confronted. And eclipse portals are also all about purging. We are purging what is no longer serving us. We are confronting the past. We're confronting our karma so that we can heal it and move on stronger. So we're bringing this into the shadow, into the dark of the night, to illuminate whatever it is that we need to navigate, navigating the unconscious and the conscious realms. All right, last week of October, just the 29th to the 31st, and then we're into November. I don't have any new astrology happening that week, but we'll be coming out of that eclipse portal. So processing, integrating. Let me just pull some cards for that, and then I'll go into a little bit more the astrology in depth of what that means. So 29th to the 31st. Ooh, dawn, the light after the darkness. This is so cool. I love this synchronicity, because the week before we've got midnight, and we are bringing the sunlight into the dark. We are illuminating the dark of the night. And then the following week, here we have that dawn that results from having brought our unconscious to conscious awareness, having done our own healing, having confronted the things that came up for us. Now, right on the other side, there's hope. Here's the dawn, right? The dawn, the light after the darkness. I love the synchronicity of this card showing up. That's awesome. Okay, Mabon Oracle. Okay. Witches gathering. Gather in power, come together in grace. Unity is rising and all will be embraced. So now I'm getting this energy of celebration, of course, festival. It's the Halloween. Maybe we're going to Halloween parties if we didn't already on the Saturday. Just fun and festivity. So having shed the outer shell, shed the snake skin from the week before, now we've got this kind of rebirth, celebration, festivity energy. Okay, a couple more cards. We've got Five of Ghosts. This is Five of Cups, which is a card of heartbreak and disappointment. It's also a card of healing. And so I'm really seeing this as healing. We are healing from the grief that we initiated in the beginning of the month. Because of the eclipses, we are now in the space of healing from that, because we've got this positive dawn energy showing up. So I'm viewing this actually as a positive card, as a resolution to this. And we've got Six of Bats, Six of Swords. So we're moving away from what's no longer serving us, because we had to face the conflict, we had to face our shadow, we had to confront it and do the healing. Now we're in a space to make better choices for ourselves, to set those boundaries, to say, I'm not tolerating this anymore. This situation isn't serving me anymore. These thoughts aren't serving me anymore, because a lot of the conflict that may come up during this month as well may be internal. It may be our own limiting beliefs, our own fears. Eclipses tend to bring those up. It's not always a manifestation of change in the external world. Oftentimes it's our own internal state of being, how we show up in the world, what we believe about ourselves and others that we have to face in really big ways during an eclipse. But even though it can be frustrating, difficult, or painful, the healing that results from facing our fears, our wounds, our emotional turmoil means that we're moving on to something better. We're moving on to a better, safer, more healed place. Because as you can see in this card, they are heading towards the other shore where it's lush and green and there's this beautiful house, castle, cottage. So the work does pay off. Okay, talking about the astrology, let's dive in. The biggest things to note in October is we have Pluto that's stationed direct. Pluto stationed retrograde back in May of this year when it was in Aquarius. It was just in Aquarius for a couple months before it dipped back into Capricorn. Pluto's been in Capricorn since 2008. So whatever area of your birth chart Capricorn rules, you've been working on this for, a long time. So now that Pluto is direct in Capricorn, we've been in this kind of incubation reflection phase since May. Now that it's direct, that should bring some revelations, some insights. We've probably already gotten some insights during this retrograde phase. And now that it's direct, it's about applying what we know. In Capricorn, it's about personal development. It's about taking accountability for our lives, taking responsibility, growing in maturity, especially when it comes to our health, our financial security, our career, our personal goals. Those are all kind of Capricorn. So we have to bite the bullet, face the music. Capricorn is very serious in that way. However, when we take accountability for our lives, even the messy parts, the ugly parts, things get better, right? Everything gets better when we take full responsibility, especially over our perspective and how we choose to show up and respond to the curveballs that life throws our way. So that's the Pluto direct in Capricorn on October 10th. Then we have the new moon solar eclipse in Libra. This is a new cycle that we're in. The lunar nodes just shifted into Aries and Libra in July. So that's a whole new soul homework that we're in for the next 18 months. With this new moon solar eclipse, we're looking at our relationships. We're looking at balance and harmony and compromise and how we address conflict. If we tend to play nice, if we tend to not want to rock the boat, if we overgive and we don't honor our boundaries, which is likely the case because we saw that in the cards that came through, this is where we're forced to confront that energy, where we overgive, or maybe where we don't give enough. And the people in our lives, our relationships, then have to speak out and say, hey, these needs aren't being met. Okay. And then we have closing out that eclipse cycle, the October 28th full moon lunar eclipse in Taurus. So this is a big one because we've been in this eclipse cycle since, April of 2022. Even though the nodes have shifted to Aries and Libra, this is the last eclipse in the Taurus-Scorpio axis that we've been navigating since 2022. April 30th, 2022, we had a solar eclipse in Taurus. And then we had an eclipse May 16th in Scorpio. That was that eclipse cycle. Then again, October 25th of 2022 to November 8th of 2022, we had another solar eclipse in Scorpio, lunar eclipse in Taurus. So think about what was coming up around that time for you in 2022. We're going to be closing out that cycle, those themes, on October 28th with this final full moon eclipse in Taurus. That doesn't mean that whatever was happening in your life at that time is going to happen again. The way we look at progression, the progression of time in astrology, each portal, each door, each transit represents an ascension of learning. So if you showed up and were willing to do the work, then this final eclipse should represent integrating everything that you've learned over that time period. So you're approaching the same lesson, similar energy, but from a higher state of consciousness. Okay. So that is the energy of October. I hope that you found this video helpful. For the month of October, I am offering personalized Halloween card readings. You can book that on my website at whitewolfmystic.com/services. I will include the link down below. I hope this was fun for you. I hope you have an amazing October and spooky season, and I will see you soon. Take care.